Hello everybody, what's up, what's going on, and welcome to the 32nd episode of Raptors in 1. I'm back, baby. It's been a while, but here we go. I gotta spit out my thoughts. But before you go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and of course, check out my other content on my channel. But to do that, you gotta subscribe. And yeah, of course, put your comments down. I'm always curious to see what everybody thinks, how they think. Of course, let's keep it respectful. But apart from that, let's get right into this because I have a few things to talk about. So without any further ado, let's get it. So, the Raptors had a good run right up until last night when we faced the LA Lakers. And we were on a 5-game winning streak that started off with a game against San Antonio. And we beat some notable teams like Denver Nuggets, Phoenix Suns, LA Lakers, LA Clippers. We beat both the LA teams. And the best part about it is this was all on the road. And some of those games were even without Freddie and without Malachi. And of course without OG Anunoby. So this was a pretty impressive run. And I'm going to talk about the last night's game, but I want to first talk about this 5-game winning streak and what was impressive and what stood out. Pascal, Spicy P, man, he was spicy for the other teams, that is, and he was impressive. I would say his impressive run started maybe about 4 or 5 games before the All-Star break. And what fueled his impressive run, apart from the fact that he wants to be one of the go-to guys and to just win, was the All-Star snub. That's my opinion. I think the All-Star snub did get him. And now he's been playing insane. He's been playing out of his mind. Of course, he had that shoulder surgery, and, right after shoulder surgery coming into the season, he was a little apprehensive, but now probably his shoulder is feeling fine, and it looks fine. But his evolution, everybody can see how he's evolving. And especially prior to the All-Star break and leading up until the last game, his evolution has been amazing. And guess what? It's those same things that I spoke about in my previous videos. He needed to improve certain aspects of his game. So far, he's done 2 out of 3. He's working on the third one, and it's been maybe 1.5 out of 3. He's been working on the second and the third aspect, and he will get there. The scary part about this evolution is that he's only hit 1.5 out of 3 points. So he's only hit half of the points that I had mentioned. If he continues to work on the rest of those points, you know what? Let me just talk about those points. You guys are probably like, whoa, what points? Because I haven't watched any of his videos. I haven't subscribed to his channel. Yeah, get in on it. Maybe then you would know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I'll throw a bone at you guys, and I will let you know what those points were. Number 1, you gotta be a good ball distributor. Number 2, be a more consistent 3-point threat. And number 3, be a little more consistent with your defense. So, 1.5 points. Which of those points has he tackled? The passing. That's the first point, and he has been amazing with the passing. And number 2, or more like the half point, was the second point, being a consistent threat from the 3-point arc, which has opened up his game on the inside. Another point that I had mentioned that he is working on and is very close to perfecting, his basketball IQ. His IQ has gone off the charts since the All-Star break. I would even say even a little bit more before the All-Star break. He is starting to read the floor better. The game has slowed down for him, and he is performing at an all-star level. I say we shouldn't call him Spicy P anymore. I mean, yes, that's his nickname, but we should call him All-Star P. Yeah, he's definitely a threat. He is an all-star. The way he's been distributing the ball, he's been averaging easily north of 5 assists a game. He is becoming a point forward with in front of our very own eyes, and by every game we see it. The best part about it is his IQ is helping him excel in these points that I had mentioned. The fact that he's understanding the game, he's understanding the defense that is being laid in front of him, he's reacting to it, that is helping his game big time, because he doesn't always average 5 assists. Some of the games he doesn't have 5 assists or more than 5 assists a game, but he knows what is required to get that W. He knows that, okay, you know what? I don't have to pass this game because I have a big mismatch, and I'm going to town on this defender all day. But hey, as soon as you put in, 2 defenders at me, okay, now that's where I'm going to start racking up some assists. But again, with assists, you got to have your teammates playing good too, and his teammates have been playing better as well. Now I got to talk about Gary Trent. Gary Trent, he's been a little inconsistent. But when he's hot, and you can't touch him. You really can't, because you're going to get burned. And you know what? Gary Trent, my analogy in comparison to J.R. Smith stands. I feel like I nailed that one, because J.R. was that kind of a player where if he was hot, he was hot. You couldn't stop him. But if he wasn't, yeah, not you wouldn't have that great of a game. But I would say compared to JR, he's definitely a better defender. Again, my opinion. I'm pretty sure some of you might have different opinions on JR versus Gary Trent, or you might not, and that's why you got to hit that comment section. Let me know. But yeah, Gary Trent, he's been showing up in those. Is it a coincidence that he's been showing up for the big market games? Like Phoenix, he scored like 42 points or something. And Phoenix, even though they may not necessarily be a big market, they were in the finals last season. And they are looking to be in the finals this season too. And against a team like that, now mind you, yes, they did not have Chris Paul. But we didn't have Freddie. We didn't have OG. We didn't have Malachi. You see what I'm saying here? Like there's no playmaking. But you got Pascal, you got Scottie Barnes, and I'm going to talk about him in a bit. And of course, Gary Trent. And everybody's doing a little bit of everything to make sure and we get that W. And of course, let's not forget to give props to the main man, the puppeteer behind the scenes. That's Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse has been great. Like the playmaking, the play calling, it's amazing. We don't give the coach as much credit, but it's what he does outside the game too. To get his players to buy into the system, to perfect the system, but you gotta have the patience to let them develop in the system. To see what you envision come through. You gotta have a lot of patience, but a lot of persistence. And that's what Nick Nurse has shown. And we can see it now. Everybody's buying into their roles. Let's talk about Scottie Barnes. I know I've been raving about this guy since day one, and I'm not gonna stop, because I gotta say, since the All-Star break, he's on a whole different level. This is All-Star Scottie. If he continues this, he's making the All-Star team next season. Wow, like, he's easily, dare I say, do I jump the gun here? Do I say that he could be our answer for the void that Kawhi Leonard left? Dare I say? Ooh, I don't know. I think I'm gonna say it. Yes, I believe he is the answer for the void that Kawhi has left. Mind you, he's still got a ways to go to reach to that level. But I believe in him. I believe he can. I believe he can be our answer for Kawhi Leonard's absence. Yes, and some. Because he's got something that Kawhi doesn't. He actually distributes the ball well, and he sees the floor well. Mind you, Kawhi's skill set is unique. It's amazing. But I believe Scottie could be a hybrid of Kawhi, Magic, and LeBron. He has that ability, and that's how high his ceiling is. Man, I'm excited to see how far Scottie can go. He has been averaging about 20 plus points a game since the All-Star break. Yes, there were maybe a game maybe, or even two at the most where he struggled, but he impacted the game in other ways, and this is why, for a rookie, he plays like he is a vet. He is amazing, and it's just raw talent. Man, Masai, no matter how many times, Masai and Bobby, no matter how many times I say you guys made the best draft move in a while. Now I'm going to talk about the bench players. Chris Boucher is doing Chris Boucher things, and he's doing exactly what we need for us to win. And, crashing the boards, crashing the offensive boards, doing the defense, doing the garbage things. The things that are, that don't look pretty, but they're the hustle plays, and he's doing it. And because of him, the bench is looking good. At the same time, I gotta talk about Precious. Oh man, this is what I envisioned for when we picked up Precious. This is what I was hoping to see, and now we're seeing it. He's bought into this role, and he's beautifully executing and providing the exact spark that we need to win these games. And is Precious hitting three-pointers now? Yeah, he is. He's hitting three-point shots. He's actually a threat. And the beauty of it is, people are underestimating him. I'm glad they are. And I hope they do. Because guess what? That's going to open things up for him where he really is a threat, which is in the paint. But man, he's been hitting those threes. That's him. That's what he does. Every time he hits those threes, that's it. So he's been doing that at least a couple of times a game. Ever since the All-Star break, yeah, he's been doing that at least a couple times a game. So, yeah, keep giving him that space, and he's gonna keep knocking them shots down. Of course, I still think he obviously needs to work on that. But it's improved a lot more since the beginning of the season. Big time improvement. And you know what? He's been improving on his IQ too. And this is all coming down to understanding your role, understanding the system, buying into it, and of course, your willingness to win, to get that W. You gotta be hungry. That's that hungry ball that I've been looking for, that I've been mentioning since my first episode, that they were doing in the preseason. That hungry ball. It's come back. It's come back. Now let's talk about Freddie. Freddie, he's been doing all right. He hasn't been doing too bad, but of course he's also playing through some knee soreness, and I feel like if he can get a little more rest before the playoffs, that would be great, because we definitely need him. But even though he's battling through the knee soreness, like, he's actually still been doing pretty good, and having a teammate like Scottie Barnes helps you out big time. You start to have a little more, now you have more options around you. You're surrounded by Gary Trent. He's a threat. You're surrounded by Pascal, your running mate. You can always rely on him. And then of course you got Scottie Barnes. He's your Frankenstein project. You can make him whatever kind of beast you want. And that is exactly what we're seeing. So you got him as an option, and he's a threat. And then when people like Chris Boucher and Precious start stepping up, it's like, which one do I choose? I will choose whoever's hot. And you know what? I can't be wrong, because I know who's going to get hot, and I'm going to feed that man, and we're going to win these games. And that's why they went on another. This is like the third 5-game winning streak for the season. If they can start stringing these kind of win streaks until the end of the season, there is no doubt we will hit that sixth spot. We will get out of the play-in tournament. But we gotta get on these win streaks a little more. Now I want to talk about last night's game against the LA Lakers. They came to town. I'm starting to think, no offense to Drake, but is he really helping our team? I don't know. I mean, yes, it's great what he does to psych up the other team, but sometimes that can backfire and that can fuel the players of the other team. So, I don't know. I mean, it's always entertaining to see him there, but yeah, maybe tone it down a little bit. Because we had that game in the bag. We could have won that game. And I want to say this. Typically, when the Raptors lose in this fashion, you say, well, you know what? The Raptors lost the game. The other team did not win that game. But this game, Lakers won this game. And that's what happens when you underestimate Russell Westbrook. Westbrook killed us. I gotta say, of course, LeBron, I'm going to talk about LeBron a little bit, but LeBron's LeBron. He showed up. He showed up for Toronto, and my fears came back. LeBronto, our mayor, LeBron, of the mayor of LeBronto town, he showed up, and he killed us. But so did Russell Westbrook, and the crazy thing is, they did not have AD, they did not have Melo. So, makes you wonder, right? Sure, we didn't have OG, and we didn't have Malachi, but we should have won that game. We really should have. Hey, learning moments. Hopefully, they learn from this, and we go on another win streak because we really need to. Ladies and gents, this could work both ways. It could be a blessing for us if we're in the play-in tournament. It could also be a curse. If we're in the play-in tournament, it keeps us fresh. We're a young team. We cannot take that long of a break, as you've seen from the All-Star break. When we had the All-Star break, most of our players, when we came back, except for Scottie Barnes, most of our players, they kind of cooled down after that break. And we don't want that. We can't afford that, especially in the play-in tournament. At the same time, maybe the rest could help us. Who knows? Especially, it definitely could help our players who've been logging in those heavy minutes. Like, you got your Freddie. Freddie definitely needs that rest. Pascal, he definitely needs that rest too. Gary Trent. Scottie Barnes, not so much. He's young, rook. He's got those fresh legs. He's got that NBA-ready body already. He'll be alright. But I feel like even he could use that break. So, it could work either way. Having said that, I personally would like to see them in the 6th spot. But if the matchup is going to be favorable, then I don't mind the play-in tournament, and then we match up against a team that we could potentially beat and move on to the next round. That's all I got for today, folks. We got a tough road ahead of us, and we got the next 2 games that are very tough. Sunday night against Philadelphia 76ers, and, of course, a back-to-back. Those conspiracy theories about this league trying to screw us over? I'm starting to believe it. I'm starting to believe it even more. Because it's a back-to-back, Philly and Chicago. Both tough teams. And the next, I want to say like 5 games maybe, are against conference rivals. These are some meaningful games we gotta win. We have to win these games if we want to get into that 6th seed and get out of the play-in tournament, or even to stay in the play-in tournament conversation. These are some important games to win. And all these teams, conference rivals, and they're getting hot. They're getting hot. We got to cool them down. That's all I got for today, folks. If you like my content, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and of course, don't forget to comment. Let me know what your thoughts are. Until next time, I'm out.